Hello viewers and welcome, this is N90 bringing at you another video on Marvel Strike Force. Now I know it's been a while since I've done a video on MSF. The last one I did was I think on the Fantastic Four and building an ISO team for them, since ISO 8 was kind of fresh during that time. But now there are a lot more characters that came out this year, and the big team for this brand new year looks to be the Astonishing X-Men. So I know we already have a lot of mutants, and we already have a good number of X-Men already, as you can see in my roster. I have, I think, all the X-Men at this point, but I'm waiting for the last two Astonishing X-Men to show up, because right now we only have 3 that are accessible. And fingers crossed, and I'm expecting to see Jubilation Lee come out, because Kitty Pryde has a power that is specifically for Jubilation Lee. But for right now, there aren't really much information that we have on her release date. All we know is that she's going to be coming out sometime this year, probably. Well, she has to. Sadly, there's a lot of stuff that, some of these characters can do. In particular, Iceman, he's going to be a big raid type character, because he's going to be able to do a lot of cool things to give you more advantages when you're doing raids. Because he requires at least 4 Astonishing X-Men to actually reach his full potential. But again, we only have 3, so we cannot see that just yet, which is why I'm hoping that Jubilation Lee will come out soon. So let's take a look at the team that I built so far for my Astonishing X-Men. So for right now, I have the Pheonix, I have the Beast, I have Kitty Pryde, Iceman, and I have Cyclops. The reasons as to why I chose them all, be finding out later on. But for right now, let's take a look at what these characters can do. If there are some questions you guys had before about them, now will be the best time to kind of get some answers on there. So let's take a look at the first one, which is Iceman, because Iceman right now is my weakest link. I just got him, but I did a lot of research on him to see what he can do. Basically, whatever I can share with you guys, especially for those of you who are casuals or pros, but maybe missed out on something, and could probably even give me some more information on him through comments if you wanted to. But I'm going to touch up on a few things that he can do by taking a look at what he is and what his abilities are, as well as what kind of ISO I'm going to be placing onto him. So first off is that he's got his good old-fashioned Chilling Blast, of course. So as you can see right here, he does have certain percentages that he'll be getting, and of course, the more levels he get, the more of a percentage he pretty much does with his damage and whatever else he can do. And this one in particular, he does attack the primary target, he applies a slow to them, and gains focus. Keep in mind, this is going to be an extremely important thing for him to be doing. So you want to be using number 1 if you don't have access to his 3rd attack. Only because slow is pretty much going to be the big thing you want to be doing to your enemies. So on top of that, we do have the freezing impact. Now this one is the one that you're going to be using probably, non-stop if you can. Only because you want to be using the side effect that it does. Now he does attack the primary target for a good amount of damage, but that's not the part that you want to be doing. You want to be able to be doing stuns. You want to stun the heck out of as many, people that you possibly can. So the only way this works is only if the enemy that he's attacking has a slow effect on them. Which again, like I said, if you don't use number 1 or number 3 first, you want to be able to have that guarantee on there. Because this is a guaranteed stun, plus it has the crits on them. Well, of course, unless the person has a high resistance, I guess that would be the problem. So I guess it kind of counteracts what I just told you. But like I said, you want to be able to apply that stun on them. So here is the Ice Slide, is the 3rd one that he has. This is a good one. Now this one actually creates a barrier for himself, so make sure that whenever you use this, you have a very high max HP, because he gets 10% or whatever percent that you get, because as you get higher in these levels for his abilities, that's going to start going up higher and higher. So you want to be able to building this character with as much HP as you possibly can, so that way he can have a lot higher barrier for himself. Not only does he create a barrier, but he also attacks all the enemies and applies one slow to all of them. Like I said, skill number 2 is the one you want to be doing the most. So if you can go ahead and slow him with his first attack or his third attack, that would be great and very useful for the freezing impact part. Because again, you want it for the stuns. I like to stun out my people as much as possible. I love to do so many crazy effects to them, and that would just be perfect to make it so that your enemies cannot attack ever. So now on to his passive. So his passive, again, like I was telling you before, it's going to be very essential to the raids that he'll be doing later on. So sadly, like I said, his biggest thing that he has on there that's going to be super useful is going to be the part about being able to revive back to life. And he gets a very good percentage on his max HP. Now, I barely have mine set to level 2, and he would already gains 20% of his max HP. As he gets higher and higher, it starts to go up even more. So like you see, level 4 is 40%. So that's a good amount of health coming back to him if he gets killed off. So, like I said, the only downside is that you cannot have this power. Nobody has this power. Nobody can have it because you have to have at least 4 characters in place. Now, as far as I can tell, none of these things say anything about decreasing the amount of Astonishing X-Men that you need, per se. So that basically means that that's going to be something that it's just stopping players from being able to do quite yet. So we basically have to avoid this first thing. But his other stuff's pretty good, though. I mean, whenever an enemy is slowed down, he creates an additional barrier on himself based off of his max HP. So again, you want to be able to have as much HP as you can for the Iceman, so that way he has a heck of a lot of barriers. So you want to be having whoever his enemies are to have slow as much as possible, so that way he can always have a barrier on himself. It's not as big of a barrier as his third attack, but it's still something. And do keep in mind that when it's the enemy's turn, there's always a chance that he can attack that enemy as well as put slow on them. And on top of that, whenever he does do that always attack kind of a thing, he will always do a good piercing damage to them. But sadly, the percentage really isn't that high. It could be higher. And last but not least, he does lower the armor of all enemies by 5% who have slow as an affliction. Again, that's why I said right now, you want to make sure that your characters or your enemies are always slowed down. So all of his attacks pretty much do slowing damage, or does slow affliction except for freezing impact. So you want to be using 1 and 3 and use him as much as possible to do that whole slowing thing. Now, as for his isotopes, I went ahead and I chose to put the Skirmisher for him. Since he is a controller, he's kind of more of like a... I would see him as more as a support kind of person, since he's kind of doing afflictions mostly on people. And you do want to keep him alive as much as possible. So I was thinking about doing Fortifier, which you too could also think about doing Fortifier. But the thing is, 2 of his, attacks are already giving him barriers. So you could add that on and put Fortifier to make sure that he's always has some kind of barrier on him. But I feel like getting him Skirmisher might be a little bit better, only because those Skirmishers, as you guys know, they do increase the focus on him, as well as getting rid of positive effects. So if, let's say, they have those positive effects of being unable to be afflicted by things such as high resistance or something, this can help out with kind of decreasing that. But again, I'm still just testing this out. I'm not even completely sure if I'm going to be keeping Skirmisher as a thing. I just wanted to keep this just so that he can make sure that he can clear off positive effects, whenever he applies that vulnerable to the enemies. So for right now, I'm still trying to see if I'm going to do Skirmisher or Fortifier. Those are probably the 2 to look at. I wouldn't recommend healing, even though he could survive a long time, but I mean, I just don't know. I don't see him as a healer. I just really don't see that. I see him more as a Fortifier or a Skirmisher. You could do Raider, but he doesn't really have any positives to, you know, critical attacks. If he had like somebody like Wolverine in place, he would be a lot better to have as a Raider. But since I don't have Wolverine, it wouldn't make sense. I'm saying to give Wolverine the Raider thing, not Bobby, not Iceman. And of course, Stryker wouldn't make sense. He does attack a lot, but you know he's not meant to do any heavy damage. Again, he's more of the kind of person who's going to be kind of in the backgrounds, and that's basically all you want to do with him. Now, the other person I have on my team is right up here, Kitty Pryde. I said I got her like a week or so ago, and for her, the cool things about her is that she is also an Astonishing X-Men character, so she's going to be giving out those buffs for Astonishing X-Men in particular. And let's take a look at her first attack. And her first attack, the Shadow Cat Strike. She's able to attack the primary target and clear off one positive effect. So again, we already have Bobby, who already has the isotope thing of being able to remove one positive effect. You know, having her be here for that too helps out a lot. And we do have the next one, which is the Lockhead Blast. Lockhead Blast is able to attack all enemies, so it's an AoE. It applies offense down, and I have to say, this is probably the most coolest thing about her, is that she removes taunts from enemies, okay? She takes away the taunts and flips them over to defense down to any single enemy who has a taunt on them. So I kind of see her being extremely useful if, like, let's say you're going up against the, what's it called, the Marauders with Emma Frost, or going up against, I'd say Asguardians too, probably, because you know that it's always a pain having to get rid of like Sif or what's his name, Strife on Marauders. It's a real pain in the butt trying to get rid of that. So being able to flip that and cause them to do defense down basically means that they're going to be open for attacks, and they're going to take a lot more damage than usual. So on top of that, it also makes it so that, let's see, if there were any enemies who had the taunt and she reversed it, she also gets to get her speed bar increased, which is pretty cool. So that basically means she'll be able to attack a little bit faster, so her turn will come back a little faster. So you want to be making sure that you use this whenever you see somebody with a taunt, so that way she gets that little boost in speed. Third one in line is the Mischievous Sprite. This is her third and final attack. She's able to attack the primary plus adjacent targets, which are characters next to her, and applying disruption to them. Luckily, if she attacks somebody who is a tech type, they get additional disruptions, I guess. So, again, I guess you could use her against, I would say, power armor people or techs. If you see them in place, she'll be able to take them out. I've never really seen anybody, let's say in the Alliance battles, where they used power armor people, but hey, she's there for tech, I guess. You can get rid of those if you happen to want to use her for that. The last one that she has is the Untouchable. Very useful to have, I would have to say, for this power that she has. Her passive, she gains a percentage to dodge. She also gains stealth whenever she gets below 50% of her health. She becomes invisible, guys. Invisible. Which is pretty cool. And on top of that, again, this is going to be cool whenever Jubilation League comes out. But she's going to make sure that the enemies will miss an attack on the Astonishing X-Men, guys. It doesn't even specify which one. It just says if Jubilee is an ally, you know, the enemies are going to be missing attacks on the Astonishing X-Men. That's amazing. And on top of that, you know, there was also the chance, well, not even the chance actually, it's just going to make sure that it heals off the most injured Astonishing X-Men ally for 5% of the max health. But again, this is only if Jubilation Lee is an ally. She's not here yet. So sad, like I said before, Iceman's powers and Kitty Pryde's powers, they're cool powers they have. They can't be used right now, which is so annoying, until Jubilation Lee comes out. So when she comes out, you'll be able to have access to this as well as Iceman's powers. As for the raids, she does some special things. Now she does apply defense up to the most injured Astonishing X-Men or herself. So again, you can still use this power. This is only specifically for raids though, guys. This is not for alliance battles or campaigns, challenges, none of that. This is only when you're doing raids. So make sure you try to use her for raids so she can have these extra buffs on her. On top of that, she also makes sure that on the enemy's turns, there is a chance to evade for the most injured X-Men or herself. So if she's the most injured, she gets to have that chance of evading. Otherwise, she gives that away to the other allies on her side if they're also Astonishing X-Men. So right now, only Beast and Iceman are the only two, including Kitty Pryde, who will be able to have that extra dodge in place. Now for her, ISO 8, I made sure to choose the Skirmisher level. It's basically the same thing that I put for Bobby. Again, I want to be clearing off as much of the positive effects as possible because I really want to be able to have my Astonishing X-Men go up against those damn Marauders. I hate the Marauders so much, man. They're probably the most annoying teams to go up against in the Alliance. So I want to be able to have these characters go toe-to-toe with them. Or even like the mercenary teams, those ones are very annoying too. So being able to clear off positive effects would be a great thing. So again, I'm looking at the Astonishing X-Men to be probably some kind of counters towards the Marauders, Asguardians, or the Mercenaries. Only because they have all those taunts, they have all those buff ups, they have all of those positive effects. They just need to get rid of them. So being able to just, always have a chance to clear them off would be great. Now, third person I have on my list over here, it's going to be the Beast. Now, the Beast, it's pretty much going to be recapping things that you guys already know about him, but the reason why I'm putting him in place is a big positive towards the Astonishing X-Men, because I want to be able to give him that little boost. So keep in mind that he does attack the primary target, as well as the adjacent targets, which means characters next to him, and they're able to flip up the one positive effect to a negative effect. It's pretty neat. Again, I want to be able to get rid of as much positive effects as possible. I want to get rid of those with a passion. On top of that, whenever he performs a counter attack or an assist, it actually flips off 2 positive effects off of enemy. So, it's perfect. Again, great for getting rid of any characters who have so many effects on them. Volatile is probably one of the most useful healing stuff that Beast has. Of course, he clears off negative effects from himself. He also heals 2 of the well, I guess not 2, but whenever you start going up higher and higher, they start to increase. But it heals up the most injured allies based off of Beast's max HP. So you want to make sure that the Beast has a very high max HP, so that way he can make sure to give off as much HP as possible whenever he heals. On top of that, he also attacks all all enemies for a percentage of damage. Again, this goes up, so my 200 might be different from whatever you have for your levels. Third one is his passive. A lot of cool stuff for this one. It takes a while for it to kick in, but once this one kicks in, it does apply the offense up to himself, to the Blasters, the Brawlers, the Uncanny, or the Astonishing X-Men. So of course, I have 2 Astonishing X-Men, so they'll be getting the offense up. Uncanny will also be getting that. They also get the defense up for, again, Astonishing X-Men. So 2 of them will be getting that, including himself. There's also the speed up as well. So you get a lot of stuff. So just imagine, if you had all 5 Astonishing X-Men, they're basically getting all of this stuff. They'll be getting the offense, the defense, and the speed up for all of them. Of course, if you also had the Uncanny X-Men on there as well, it also works out. But of course, these are the little perks here too. You have the Blasters and Brawlers, so each of them have little special things. But again, this is something that we saved up for the Astonishing X-Men in particular. Last but not least is his passive. He does apply regeneration to the most injured ally. On top of that, if they're X-Men related, they get the extra heal based off of Beast's maximum HP. So again, you want to have Beast with as much max HP as possible. On top of that, he will also heal a 3rd time, or I guess a 2nd time, to the other X-Men who was Astonishing X-Men. Because again, Astonishing X-Men is a big thing here, guys. So we want to get those characters in as soon as possible whenever Marvel Strike Force decides to let them out. So there's even that extra boost in there for them. On top of that, there's that resistance that is gained for both the X-Men. Again, get that extra resistance. So you're getting like double the resistance on whoever is not an X-Men and whoever is. On top of that, if there's at least 3 Uncanny X-Men, the first time an LA dies, it does not count in campaigns or challenges. So if you're trying to get 3 medals in either the campaigns or the challenges, and one of your Uncanny X-Men dies, it's not going to count. It's not going to affect your medals. Basically means you get to lose a guy, and it'll be A-okay. So these might actually be pretty useful whenever you're planning to do challenges and you're having a really hard time, and you know you just need to lose one. It's okay. So that'd be pretty good to have him for that. Campaigns, I don't really care too much about those. It's always the challenges that are more befitting for these kind of things. Now for him, healer type, I'm really gonna say enough said, because you don't really need to know why I chose healer. I mean, Beast is basically a healer, so getting that extra healing buff really helps out. Now the 4th character I chose is the Pheonix. Oh wait, hang on. Cyclops. So Cyclops is the other one I put in there. I mean, keep in mind he is an Uncanny X-Men, so he would be getting that extra boost from Beast as well as any others. Quick run through with him again. Optic Blast, amazing for applying defense downs, amazing for doing attack damage. So, you know, you need somebody to do some kind of damage, and Cyclops as well as Pheonix are the 2 to do that. So, of course, like I said, a primary plus chance. If this character has 1 more allies, he will always apply defense down. So you don't have to worry about this 50% chance or whatever. It's going to always apply, because all my allies are X-Men, so he's always going to do defense down. Top of that, to me, now this one is perfect for the Kitty Pryde, guys. So make sure you have Cyclops with Kitty Pryde no matter what, because he will be applying taunt. Again, you want to have enemies who have taunt. So if you end up going against an alliance team or a challenge or whatever, and the characters don't have any taunts, you want to make sure to try to get Cyclops to get in there to use up his 2nd attack on them so he can apply taunt, and it makes sure that when Kitty Pryde comes out and she's able to use her was it her 2nd skill or 2nd ability, you know, it's going to be very useful to basically reverse it and give it off that extra boost that you need. So that's pretty neat. Wolverine is not on my team, so I'm not going to be worrying about this other part. But there is that chance to call an ally to attack the 2nd most injured of the enemies. But I don't think this will work if I don't have Wolverine. There's also attacking the primary for a percentage of damage as well. So that's not too shabby. On top of that, we have the Optic Devastation, which are the ones that charges up. So the more you attack, the more charges he gets. You want to be saving this up for as long as you can so you can do a massive damage to the enemies. It does attack all enemies. It also applies slow, which, keep in mind, if you remember, Iceman has a lot of buff ups for the enemies that have slow on them. So you want to be able to use this 3rd attack to apply extra slows and make certain that the enemies have slow as an effect on them. Also, the damage is increased by the charge. Again, you want to be able to be increasing these charges as much as you can. There doesn't seem to be a limit on his charges, so go crazy. Team Synergy. It's Uncanny X-Men, which is basically most of my characters already that I have for this team. He does gain a charge up. Can only get charge up to a max of 10. So his charges will continue to go based off of the Uncanny X-Men with him. On top of that, whenever an enemy attacks the Pheonix, the Dark Pheonix, he has a chance to attack the enemy for a percentage of damage. If it doesn't attack, he still calls an assist from an ally. But again, I don't have Wolverine, so that's not going to really do much. And whenever Pheonix does happen to die, he gains the offense up, and it fills up. Again, Wolverine's speed doesn't matter because I don't have Wolverine. So he would actually be great to have like with Wolverine, Pheonix, and him. But the thing is, like, right now, I'm only putting these characters in because I wanted to have the taunt for him, and I wanted to have the extra buff ups having the Pheonix with him. Cyclops, I went ahead and went with the Striker because he does probably a lot of damage. He will be doing a lot of damage, so it makes sense to give him the Blaster trait, just so he can get that extra oomph, you know? Enough said. You guys should already know about isotopes. Anyways, so again, I just wanted to have him do the most damage, which he will be doing once I'm able to create vulnerableness with Iceman and Kitty Pryde. So last but not least is Pheonix. Take a look at her powers real quick. So she attacks the primary target and clears off 2 positive effects. Again, great for up against characters or teams that have a lot of buff ups on them. So the Astonishing X-Men seems to be, at least mine, are oriented towards getting rid of all positive effects. I don't want the enemy to ever have any positive effects. So bestowing the light, she can apply stealth to herself, plus the allies, plus defense up to all the allies. And keep in mind that she doesn't heal people. I guess she does, but at the same time, she's actually redistributing. Kind of like with Wanda Maximoff, when she uses her second attack, she's able to heal people, but she's not really healing them. She's just redistributing all of their healths together. But for the Pheonix, she's actually taking away 25% of her own health, and she's giving them to her allies. That's why sometimes when you use this, it's like, hey, my Pheonix just died, but nobody attacked her. What happened? It's happened to me a couple of times. I'm trying to figure out why that happens. But it's because she's taken away her own health. So if she doesn't have like more than 25% of her health, she is going to die. And she's going to be healing everyone. But she'll also be giving an extra, I guess, health. I guess that's 6,000 to her allies. And it also bypasses healing blocks. So if any of your characters have any blocks of healings, it's just going to bypass it. It also transfers all negative effects that are on her allies, and it gives it to herself. So if any of your allies or Uncanny X-Men, Astonishing X-Men, any of them have any effects on them, such as, you know, slow or healing blocks or whatever it may be, it's going to go straight into herself. You know, she's taking one for the team, basically. And if there are no allies with her, she'll be attacking by herself a lot of damage and piercing damage. It's ridiculous how strong it is. You know, you never want to have the Pheonix by herself. Make sure that if you ever kill the Pheonix, she's with her group and you take her out first. Because if you don't do that, you take out everybody else, she's gonna wipe out your team immediately. I found this out the hard way the other day when I was playing, and I'm like, what the heck happened? Because like Pheonix is by herself and she did a massive damage to my whole team, and she was the last one left. So keep in mind that she does a lot of damage if she is alone. Make sure she's never alone if you're attacking her. If you're by yourself and Pheonix is on your side, she's by herself, kudos for you. Let's see. Third one is the Pheonix Force. Keep in mind that she attacks the primary target for a percentage of damage and clears off 3 positive effects. Again, I never want to have the enemy to be allowed to have any positive effects. I want to get rid of them as quickly as possible. On top of that, she does get an extra focus for doing this attack, and that's all she pretty much can do. You know, if she gets to level 7, as this one says, she clears off all positive effects from primary target. Pheonix Rising, this is the one that you want to be having as much as possible. Because whenever she dies, she comes right back to life. And she basically gains taunt. And of course, if Beast is an ally, which he already is, you know, she gains taunt for an additional turn. On top of that, she also gains some extra damage. And the Uncanny X-Men also gain more damage. So that's Cyclops over there, who is a striker. He's going to be getting a heck of a lot more damage on him. And she also gains more HP. And her allies also gain more HP. So if you already have your heroes who are already maxed health and you give them even more health, they're going to be having a lot more HP that they can do to help out themselves and healing others or doing damage or whatever it is they can do with max HP. So she is pretty strong with that. Those are my 5 choices, and on top of that, before I forget, I did give her Fortifier because I want her to survive as long as possible. Again, I wouldn't mind if she dies because she could do more damage, but at the same time, I don't want her to die. I want her to be in the front as much as possible. So I gave her Fortifier. I might change it later on, because maybe she might be better as a Raider, but I don't know. I'm just keeping it as Fortifier for now. That is my team up for them, and let's do a quick demo to see how it goes. I'm going to try her out on the... Let's do Blitz, and then do one for the real-time Marina to see how she does, or how they do, I'm sorry. I already maxed out everything, so I'm going to go ahead and try the red stars. I need those more than I need the orbs, to be honest. So, my team is not exactly the strongest right now. They're still a work in progress. I can't use it on there, apparently. Hang on. They're still a work in progress, so once they're able to be fully maxed out and whatnot, I'll be able to give out even more details about them, and hopefully by then, perhaps the Astonishing X-Men will be a full team by that point. So this is my Astonishing X-Men 1.0 trial. I'll be coming out with more later on in the future if I'm able to, so that way we can see how much farther they can go. I'm not going to do simulation because I want to actually see what they can do if I were the one attacking. So right now this is a blitz battle. Blitz battles are great for practicing, guys, so if you ever had any teams you want to try out, try blitz before anything else. Afterwards, like I said, the real test is doing an RTA to see if they can do some good damage or not. It's not too shabby right now so far. Now I do want to make sure to give out some health. Let's see. Do we need stealth right now? My thing is probably, yeah, right? Like again, I want her to be the target. Nobody has taunt right now, so I want to be able to give out taunt as soon as I can. Again, his healing is going to be great for some of these people. I already lost Captain Marvel, great. So let's go ahead and do his third one, so that way I can apply slow to all these guys. Alright, so it looks like Miles Morales had a very high resistance that he couldn't do it. Well, he couldn't slow him down, that is. It's not a guaranteed slow. Keep in mind, it's not a guarantee. It just has a chance to slow them down, unless their resistance are higher. Now, since nobody has taunt, I want to be able to use this one to activate Kitty Pryde's ability. So these two got taunt on them. This is the one I want to be using. Attacks all enemies, plus flips the taunting to defense down on all taunting enemies. These two are about to get that defense down right now. Bam! Woo! Very good. Oh no, but now he got his taunt. So right now, let's go ahead and clear off his positive effect, because he does have the taunt. I want to get rid of that. It is now gone. Ooh, he got two more now. Oof. That's okay. Got more characters to help out with that. This one will be... there's nobody adjacent to him, so it's not going to really do any damage. So I'm going to save this for now. It is unavailable and cannot be blocked. Doesn't have block, does he? No, he has an offense up. So I'm just going to do the first attack. I'll save that for a different time. Finish him off. He's gone. Now, since this guy has slow on him, at least he should have slow. Just click on this. I can't even see if he has. Okay. I'm hoping he has slow. There. Yeah, he stunned him. There we go. Guaranteed stun whenever he has slow. Max damage. He's gone. Let's give everybody that big old boost. Bam! They all got the boost except for Pheonix, sadly. Gonna slow him down. Why not use the third attack? Disrupt him. And he kills them all. Perfect. So we had a chance to kind of see what they can do with their attacks and how you should kind of form it up. Like I said, you want to be able to use Cyclops' forcing of placing the taunt on enemies. So there's that. Now the real test, like I said before, is going to be an RTA to see how well they can do up against actual players. So let's see how well they do. Crossing my fingers and hoping that I can do some damage. Keep in mind that RTAs stands for real-time arena, which basically means you'll be going up against players who are actually real and they're not computers. Although sometimes people are coming in here and they're just clicking autoplay, and it's like you are playing against the robot. But like I said, it's still better chances of being able to go up against a formidable opponent as compared to just playing a blitz or a raid or whatever to test them out. RTAs are always the best ones to do tests with. I almost died. The Kitty Pryde almost went down because she lost 50% of her health. She got her stealth back. Let's see if I can everybody's health regained. Perfect. She lost her positive effect. Nobody has taunt, so I want to be giving them out taunt. Perfect. Look at that damage. Oof. They almost lost Miss Invisible right there. So, looks like he has defense. Oh, he's got taunt. And she's got taunt. Such a weird team. They have 3 Fantastics and 2 of these guys for Mojoverse. Okay, so let's clear off some positive effects from everyone. Wazam. Oh no! It didn't flip it. Wow, she must have one heck of a high resistance. Dang, that's intense. Oh no! I just realized I don't have Iceman in here. Oh man, this is a big mistake. Okay, so I wasn't able to actually test this out correctly. I goofed on this one, guys. I'm gonna quit the battle. I goofed up. I just realized I didn't have Iceman in there. So I'm like, what's wrong? Something's different. Bobby's not there. That's what was different. Alright, hang on. This is gonna be the real one now. I goofed up. My bad. My bad. So he's gonna be way at the bottom because he's one of my brand new characters and he's weak. Here we go. Now I can actually test it out since I have all the Astonishing X-Men in here that I have. My apologies. I lost that battle anyways. I was gonna lose it regardless. I'll just give that person the points. I'm cool with it. 146 versus 143. This will be interesting to see because this guy Kingpin has the people he can pop in with the taunts. So that'll be fun. Iceman's probably not gonna survive this because he's at 5,000 HP. But we'll see what he can do. I mean, hopefully I'll be able to stun them. We'll see. Alright, just going after Pheonix. Yeah, they want to take her out as soon as possible. Healing time, boys! Oof. More healing! Let's go ahead and apply slow. Oh, only one of them got slowed down. That's a bummer. Applying taunt. There we go. Let's take out this chick. Bam! She lost her taunt. But she still has a lot of positive stuff. Like I said, right now, a lot of my characters, they're pretty low. So at this time, they're not as strong as they should be. Now, let's see about doing this one first attack. Beat her up. She's a healer, so I want to get rid of her. She does have slow, so I can stun her. Oh, she didn't get stunned. Wow, that's insane. Let's take them out. There. Oh, Cyclops took him out. So it didn't matter. Perfect. Everybody survived. Well, Pheonix technically did die, but I still won. Perfect. So look at that. I won with a Bobby who was only 5,000 HP. You know, they could have taken him out really fast. I don't know why they didn't. But right now, people don't really know what Bobby / Iceman's abilities are and how strong he actually can be. So, if you have Iceman, now's your chance to kind of mess around with people because they don't know what he can do. So keep that in mind, guys. Use that to your advantage right now. So that's all I have for you today, guys. I just wanted to show you guys my team up for the Astonishing X-Men. Once I have Jubilation Lee and whoever else comes up to be the 5th member of the Astonishing X-Men, I'll be updating. So right now this is Astonishing X-Men version 1.0. And hopefully by the next video that I make for 2.0, I'll be able to give out a little more advice and show you guys where I am at that time. But that's all we have for today. Thank you guys for watching. make sure to hit that thumbs up to like, or whatever it is you want to do to share this to anyone you want to provide some additional support to. Again, feel free to comment in the comments and let me know if there's something that I missed or something that I'm dead wrong about. I'm always open to any kind of feedback from you guys. And I'll try to fix things up for whenever I do the next video for this. For my team, that is. So like I said, hopefully by then there'll be more Astonishing X-Men. I'll be able to actually use them for raids and whatnot. Because right now my raids are pretty high for my alliance. So I don't want to be throwing in my Astonishing X-Men in there quite yet, because I know they're going to fail immediately. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time. Bye-sies!